think it's really important to understand that, I mean, you can find in history something called race, but it was not the way that we've come to understand it now. The term race, as it's understood and put forth, and even then, it was, even in the past, it was not something that had any kind of real scientific basis. It was a certain characterization that that was used to distinguish peoples, and sometimes people that we might call in countries and things like that, from others. But the concept of race, as we've come to understand it today, it has its origin in the slave trade, and part of the process of justifying this colonial slavery. It was born of a need by a society, and this, I'm speaking of European society in general terms, hooked together increasingly by a political economy that owed its existence and success to colonial slavery, and a sense of sameness that was emerging through this relationship of stealing resources and human beings, so this process that began, that they characterize even as science. In fact, the whole what they call school of is it anthropology, owes its existence to this process of proving the existence of races and the superiority of white people to African people in particular, and to others. And if there is an anthropology department, or even university itself that revolves around that question, it has its origin with the objective of proving the superiority of white people and the inferiority of African people in particular. It did such things as take the skulls of human beings and measure the skulls, and whether or not they do stuff like putting sand and see what a volume of sand that would go into the skulls of white people versus African people, and things like that. And it's a false concept. It's an anti-scientific concept, as much of what we have come to understand as science, in the sense that it was motivated by a requirement of a society to come to certain kinds of conclusion. It was not an innocent investigation. It was the need for society to be able to justify the oppression, and the worst kind of oppression, the severe expropriation of value from people. And it's similar, an analogy I've made in the past, in terms of just how fallacious this thing is, and how philosophy is born through this relationship of superstructure to the way the system of society gets its means of subsistence. And in this instance, you have all of Europe being fed by stealing resources from Africa and from other people who are colonized. And that has even contributed to a form of philosophical obscurantism that is hidden in the concept of Santa Claus. Racism is the race is as real as Santa Claus. And Santa Claus, of course, is this cherubic white guy who lives in a place where it's too cold to produce anything, and has these how do you characterize them? I think they might have been called dwarfs or something like that. These little people who at every year filled up this magic sled, and where this white guy would travel all around the world and taking things to everybody who's good. And of course, people who are not good didn't get anything. And this becomes a kind of explanation of why it is that this white guy has all of these resources that comes from a place that nobody produced. It's too cold to produce. Nobody produced it, and it pops up for good white people etc. And that's what we're looking at. Racism is just that real. The whole concept of race is just that that real. So I just wanted to say that it's a fallacious concept, and it's one that we fight around and struggle around, and it functions to introduce, promote a subjective response to our oppression and exploitation, as opposed to allowing us or permitting for an objective investigation and analysis of our reality for an explanation. We don't go there. We go to Saint Nick, and whether you're good or whether you're bad, kind of garbage. That's what the concept of race and racism promotes. That it takes us out of the arena of the real world, and it creates this obscurantist kind of a worldview for us. I hope that's helpful.